About to record the first scene of the remake movie, whatever.
I just finished cleaning all of the cars.
I knew that shit was gonna happen.
Okay, this is about after a couple hours of filming here. I have my little doohickeys with tape and string here, used to puppeteer the cars. That's all fun. I got my special lights here. I got all my NPCs scattered about to be race fans. The racers are kind of just scattered around while I figure out what to do with them. And Cruz is over there for some reason.
So this was in pre-production. The Cruz Ramirez hauler was already out at the time that this was being filmed. Piston Cup just hadn't found it at the time. Luckily, he found it in time for the movie and was able to reshoot all these scenes. But just a little showcase on what it was going to be like if he couldn't find the Cruz Ramirez hauler in time. First, it was going to be the Mac hauler, then the Dynaco one, and one of these Mac haulers has a really, really nice detailed interior inside. I mean, just look at that. And, you know, last but not least, we settled on that Cruz Ramirez one, which, you know, works just as well and kind of gives the Cruz Ramirez hauler a purpose instead of it just being a fantasy sort of hauler.
One. I knew that shit was gonna happen. I'm recording a remake of Racing Like a Fireball, and we gotta go to the beach. It's like a 2-hour drive. There's a couple stores on the way. We'll probably stop by and see, but I'm still kind of sleepy and I have to do most of the driving. What time did you sleep?
Like 12 a.m. 12 a.m.
Me like at 1 a.m. So I only got like 5-ish hours of sleep, 6. Let's go. About to record the first scene of the remake movie, whatever.
Remastered.
Any day now.
Hold on, you can't rush art. Alright, here we go. The fucking string broke.
Bro!
I just finished cleaning all of the cars from their trip and kind of just disinfected them here in the kitchen. So many damn cars. That's what my hands look like. They're like all burnt and shit because of the sun allergy. I'll show the other one. It was worse earlier, but you can kind of see it.
Hey guys, so it is the next day after filming the movie, and let me tell you, dude, I'm getting fucking old. Let me explain. So it took 7 hours to film that, and mind you, when the original was recorded, I was 14, and that took like maybe 2 hours tops to complete. This time I got home and I had the worst back pain. My hands were burnt because I don't think a lot of people know this, but I am allergic to the sun. And that day when we left in the morning, it was cold and cloudy. So I was like, I'm not going to need sunblock or medication or anything like that. So I didn't prepare myself. And then towards the evening, or not even the evening, the middle of the afternoon, like 3, 4 p.m., 5 p.m., it got really, really fucking hot. And lo and behold, my hands started burning and they turned red. Granted, I mean, they're better now because I put like, you know, hand cream and stuff, but they were like super red. I mean, it was fun. It just took forever. And my phone died 3 times. Granted, I'm on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. It's not even that old. It's a year old, but this thing died on me 3 fucking times. It's insane. Let me know like in the comments what phone you have, but I need a better phone recommendation. Dude, honestly, like I was considering switching to Samsung right there and then because I would have to run back to the car, charge it, and then come back, film on like 10%, and then it would die again, and then I would go again and again, and the car would charge so freaking slow. Like in an hour, it would not go up like maybe 10-20%. Like it was just so bad. And then I would use my brother's phone, and then his would die, and he would go charge it. I think that's what took us so long. If like phone battery wasn't a problem, I think we would have been done like easily by 2-3 p.m. because we got there like at 9 or 10 in the morning. I didn't really get much behind the scenes content. My brother did, and I'll put some in this video. But
During the premiere of the movie on YouTube, a lot of people were saying that the movie is too short. What do you have to say about that?
I totally understand where people are coming from with it being too short. Perhaps people expected a 1-hour special, But people gotta remember that the original was short too. This remake is the stepping stone for the future of these remastered movies. Sure, this one's longer than the original by a couple minutes, and it may not be as long as racing like a drag racer or Lightning's Madness, but trust me, this is the introduction to a lore/story that's going to develop over the years as more films come about. I feel like this is gonna be one of those things that as you rewatch it more and more as time goes on, you'll start to appreciate the length of it and the usage of every minute. During the premiere of the movie, I guess people were just expecting to be tuned in for longer than 20 minutes, and maybe that's why they were disappointed at first.
Some were saying that the moving background with the still shots of the cars looked bad and lazy. What are your thoughts on that?
So I'll actually let the editor, World of Cars Entertainment, answer this question only because I didn't create this scene, so maybe he can give you more information on that. But I think people need to remember that this is something completely new for the channel and the first time we ever try this. It's of course not going to be perfect the first time, but as we progress into the future, we can definitely see this editing trick being a lot more smoother and professional looking.
Hello everyone, Aaron here. I'm the editor for the Racing Like a Fireball movie. Some of y'all probably also know me as World of Cars Entertainment. I'm going to show you what the editing process was like for the movie. It was a lot, but it was really, really fun because I am studying college for editing and all that kind of stuff. And so being able to use it, my knowledge and stuff for something, for someone else was really fun to do because I have been wanting to do that forever because I was able to do it all in like 2 weeks. So here is the editing process and everything that went on. So this is just half of the movie. Here's the other half. So the reason why it's split into two is more so just an accident in the editing that happened in my problem. I accidentally, so basically the whole movie was on one timeline, and I had to go back and re-edit a few things, and when I was up to this point, I had to go to work and stuff, so I closed off, saved it and everything, then I opened back up and continued, and had all of this done in an old save, so I had to basically cut the two and put them together once they were both done, and just a little gap moment, you can't even notice it, because I was able to add like a little bit of the ending to match with the ending of this one stuff. I did the RSN logo. Of course, I added the closing eye effect right here, which is basically just 4 JPEGs on top of each other. A black JPEG, which you can see I am able to just kind of just mess around with. And you can see I have keyframes right here, which if you don't know what keyframes are, I'm able to, this right here, the picture knows it needs to stay here until it hits this mark, and then I basically just kind of tell it to move, and I go right here, move it, and it automatically places another keyframe, and that's kind of how keyframes work. The whooshing thing, because I know some people did not like this. So you're either given 2 choices, this or this. That's why I added it.
The hell are you waiting for?
A stationary photo. Yes, I will admit the swooshing thing looks kind of cheap, but like I did this in like literally a week, so like I don't have the ability. I probably could with time, like a whole month and stuff. But I just think the swooshing thing made the effect a little bit better. See,
some
like,
sort of Star Wars joke.
Stay in the lead and keep your...
I also basically just added the effect of check talking, just to kind of keep the same momentum, if that makes sense, not just going back and forth, back and forth. I think this is a better example of why I did the swooshing animation.
Great. Now I've got these losers ganging up on me.
Yo, Rich, that wasn't cool, man.
The hell were you thinking?
Oops.
You know all this is being aired live on television, right?
That's why I added the swooshing effect, and basically what I did was I just grabbed the still image, enlarged the background, and I got rid of the car and just kind of filled in the gap, and then enlarged it so it's like the same image just going from side to side to side using keyframes. Here, once again, I just kind of did the same thing as that one image I showed you. I did keyframes and then them just kind of moving around, and it's multiple images just kind of changing. Once again, RSN logo. And then the credits, basically it's just, you know, the credit roll. And then it's a bunch of images right here, and I just added a little rough effect to them. But the audio, that's where all the work was done. So many different sound effects. Like, I can be here all day. It's basically just tons of different engine noises, tons of different soundtracks. The soundtracks, I was able to add so many different soundtracks from the video games, from like Fast as Lightning to World of Cars Online to the video games. So I was able to grab some copyright-free songs. And a little fun fact, one of the songs is actually from Cars 2 because it's not copyrighted, because it's not in the official album for Cars 2, so therefore I can use it. That one is from Cars 2. It's the scene where when McQueen is saying, "My team's off for the season, and you know what? They just got back. Deal me and Baby Ka-Chow." That scene from Cars 2. That is not in the official album for Cars 2. It's on the FYC. If you look it up, you'll see tons of soundtracks from Cars 2 that are not in the official album. Same thing for Cars 1. But they're still missing a lot from Cars 1. But I was able to use the plain soundtrack right here. I was able to mix the two to like where they blended in, so it's two different soundtracks mixing together. And I was able, like, that is copyrighted, but I was able to use it for just a short amount of time to where I was able to where it won't be copyrighted. So I thought that was a little clever part on my end. And it is the plain soundtrack when the plain characters show up. Cars 3 Driven to Win, Cars 1 the video game, and Real Life NASCAR. Those are the engine noises I use, as various different ones. I literally got on Cars 1 the video game and just turn off music and different effects. It's where you could only hear engine noises and environment noises of him racing on dirt. And so it's just kind of, I got to play Cars the video game for this movie for like the millionth time. Of course, I had this little
Welcome to my world.
Audio effect right there. I'm trying to think. Oh, this one's funny. That little door noise is no joke. It is a metal door from like some sort of horror movie. Oh yeah, this little ending, there's like 3 different soundtracks that kind of go in, so it might sound a little weird, but I was able to kind of make it sound okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the editing process of the movie. It was so much fun. The 2D animation with the eyes, I didn't do. Someone else did that. They did an amazing job with it. So back to you, Piston Cup Productions.
Why did you remaster this movie?
Good question. So there's a bit of a story. There's a little bit of a personal story too. This is an anniversary and tribute to the original and a celebration of the channel's progression since its first film in 2018. I'm gonna get in a personal level here, but back when I was in high school and people found out about my channel, everyone would talk about it. I became like the little high school celebrity, whatever. But what I hated the most about this time in high school was that people would always filter my channel to the most popular video and always click on the original Racing Like a Fireball movie. And I get that I was a kid when that one came out and it was made, but people created a stereotype in their head that that's how all my content looked and played out, despite my content's improving every year, as we've seen in the PCP shorts and in the diecast reviews. I would always tell people, no, don't watch this one instead, and would redirect them to a newer video that was more professional and funny, but that was just sad on my part. It's like I wasn't proud of the movie that got me to where I was anymore. So people would make fun of that movie, and to be honest, I just couldn't even bear watching it at the point. It looked so unprofessional and outdated that I thought, okay, it's time to apply everything I've learned from all the PCP shorts, all the movies I've made over the past 7 years, and make a new rendition of the original story. The idea was to make this one so damn good that one day, hopefully, if it does, it blows up as much as the original, and it takes the spot of the original movie as the most viewed video on the channel.
You hadn't made a stop motion in years. How did you feel creating the stop motion for this film?
Oh boy. I first started out on YouTube making stop motion videos in 2017, and around 2019 I stopped creating them to focus on live action content instead. And ever since then, I never picked up that stop motion camera again. Until now. I will admit, getting back into stop motion was a bit nerve-wracking. It had been years since I had created one, but I feel like the difference between then and now stop motion was slightly better. Granted, I know it wasn't the best, and I know that's one of the biggest criticisms with this new movie was that the stop motion looked choppy. But I think given the time I had and the limited phone battery, it was decent enough. I hadn't made one in forever, and I feel like with time and more practice, I'll get my stop motion skills back up and running smoothly again, at least for the movies. I don't know if I'll return to making Cars movie scenes with diecast and stop motion due to copyright and my business being licensed under an LLC, so it's more of a precaution for legal reasons, if anything.
Out of all filming styles, which one was the most difficult to execute?
I would say the stop motion, definitely. It was very time consuming. We filmed the main beach race at South Padre Island, and we were there for about 7 hours-ish, maybe more. And it was mainly due to our phone batteries dying out because there was just so much to film.
Will you follow the lore of the original movies?
The lore of the original movies?
Yes.
I'm not entirely sure yet. You got to take into account that if, for example, Racing Like a Hero is remastered and remade and the main climax of the story doesn't happen, like as in Sally's death and her kidnapping, then the whole PCP shorts lore would fall apart. Those shorts build off of Racing Like a Hero's ending and Lightning's Madness, so we're still not 100% sure, but we're thinking of creating a whole separate lore for this new generation of stories and remasterings. One thing's for sure though, the script for the next movie is already in pre-production. No date just yet, but we're expecting a 2025 release if all goes well.
What was the biggest challenge that you and the team faced during production?
The animation. It took a long time for it to get done. Granted, I didn't work on it at all. I had an animator on YouTube by the name of Jado's Productions work on it, and he did a fantastic job, but he had a couple hiccups with his editing software. At one point, a lot of the files got corrupted that he had already finished, kind of like this scene right here that I'll put on screen of Daryl and Bob missing their windshield color. Even though there was a week delay, thankfully all the animation in the end came out looking fantastic in my opinion. Another minor note, but I had terrible back pain filming at the beach. It was a bit of a challenge because I used to do it with such ease when I was 14, and now I'm 20. I am getting old.
What is your criteria in the selection process of the voice actors, and how did everyone get their roles?
What is my criteria? Well, I mainly look for voice actors who sound like the actual characters casted by Pixar. A couple people wanted the same characters, so I had to host auditions for the more popular selections like Rich Mixon, Jeff Corvette, etc. I also look for content creators with talent in the Cars community, both big, well-known names and smaller creators. A lot of the guys that were involved in this are small content creators that carry so much talent on their back and that deserve their talents be put on display and shown to the world. And I feel like this movie was the perfect opportunity to make that happen. Even if they were selected for just one speaking line, I wanted to include as many big names in the Cars community and close friends of mine that I could, who have worked with me on other channel projects, to have a part in a project as big as and special as this one. Like I said, it's a celebration of the channel's filming history and including everyone who's been involved in the channel and more new ones for their first time being on here. It just felt right and like the right thing to do, and just something very wholesome seeing everyone come together as a community of Cars fans.
When did production start on this movie?
I would say around December 2023. The idea of the remake has been in my mind for years now. I had it written in my notes years ago. I just never got to it. I ignored it until, like I said, December 2023. By January 2024, script was completed and the search for a production team and voice actors, etc. All that fancy stuff began. And in early February, filming began at the beach, and it concluded production in late February. So about a month of filming and stuff. Editing began early March, and it was worked on until the very last second, the day of release, March 29th, 2024.
What made you decide to use the NASCAR diecast instead of the Fireball Beach ones?
Okay, well, that's a really good question, and here's my explanation. So early on, while developing the script, in the original draft of the story, I did have down only the Fireball Beach races to appear, which I'm not sure how many there are. I think it's maybe like 10 different ones, but the characters are totally different from the NASCAR line to the Fireball Beach Racers line. But as the story progressed, it felt really constrained to just use the Fireball Beach Racers, and with the huge cast of 15 plus actors on board, I knew it needed more racers so everyone had a speaking role. Because I felt like everyone deserved to play a character, even if it was just for one line. And the NASCAR diecast just felt a lot more fitting too compared to the Beach Racers, because the Fireball Beach Extravaganza from the movie was a special event hosted by Danica and Rusty's. So it only felt natural for Tex to want the racers to sport a new and different look outside of their Piston Cup season paint jobs.
What was one valuable lesson or skill you learned / realized in the making of the movie?
We're a family. We stick together. Remember, guys? Teamwork makes us teamwork.
He did not just say that.
Between the original and the remake, which one do you prefer?
Okay, so the first thought is the new one, obviously the remake. I will say though, the original had a certain charm, if that makes sense. I guess it's because it was child me just making it out of fun and not expecting it to become such a large success and legacy of stories like a whole 6 years later. If you would have told me back in 2018 the impact that the original Racing Like a Fireball film was going to have on the Cars community and onto Cars fans in general, I would have not believed you.
What scene was the hardest to film, and how do you get the sand out of all the diecast afterwards?
It's not easy, I'll tell you that. The hardest scene to film was definitely the scene of Rich Mixon and McQueen crossing the finish line. That scene took so many takes, and my brother could vouch for that. The final take was hands down the coolest out of all the takes, the one that appears in the movie. It just sucks that Rich Mixon kind of flips over in the final scene. But the jump that McQueen does over the air and all the sand going across the screen, that scene is sick as fuck. Like, that's one of my favorite scenes recorded cinematically. It just looked so freaking good. And we use these showers that are outside on the beach pier for like you to wash yourself down in your clothes and all the sand off of your body. It's not in the restrooms. They're like out in, you know, the beach side and near the boardwalk. And we just stood out there for about an hour washing down all the cars, blowing air onto the wheels so they would blow out, and just washing every single one of them one by one. I think we took about more than 50 cars, so it took a while, like about an hour or so.
Favorite moment in the film and favorite voice actor / character?
Ooh.
Me.
Okay, no, definitely not. I'm sorry. Easily, my favorite scene in the entire movie has to be the beginning Piston Cup race. I gotta hand it to Piston Cupster on YouTube and Instagram. He did phenomenal. He really brought my vision to life. Little fun fact, but at one point, Lightning's Madness was originally going to be Racing Like a Fireball 4, and me and my brother always imagined that movie starting out with a Piston Cup racing scene of some sort, showcasing Cruz's rookie years and McQueen as a crew chief, and it was finally brought to life, and it was captured beautifully, like just how I imagined it. My favorite character / actor in the film, hands down, has to be LB Productions' Chick Hicks. His performance as Chick Hicks was nothing short of hilarious. I mean, he captures Michael Keaton's Chick Hicks' personality really, really well. And every time Chick speaks in the movie, or even in LB's videos, there's just always a great laugh to be had with Chick's character. Everyone in general did really good, in my opinion. Danica Blue as Brent Mustangburger just felt natural. My friend Jose's performance as Raul Sarul felt just as great and fitting for the character. And even Cars Dude 64 as Tex Danica was a credit to the show.
Final question to wrap it up. Any fun moments you had behind the scenes?
Everything, I mean, was so much fun to make, despite like the hiccups and delays that we had with the movie along the way. It's the fact that we were all able to come together that makes me like really happy and proud of everyone who was involved. A huge thank you goes out to everyone involved in the project and to everyone who watched the film. I mean, I can't thank you guys enough. Just thank you for everything, and I hope, I mean, cheers to the future to see what movie comes out after this. Before I forget, I'm surprised no one asked if there was any deleted scenes. And to be honest, there isn't. There is, however, this one scene with alternate dialogue that I got.
Get your seats. Hey, McQueen, that Cruz Ramirez trainer of yours, is she single?
What the Sigma?
Ready? All right, I'm ready.
During the premiere of the... Fuck!